Hey everybody, Rick here with Game Trade Media. We're coming to you with the first look at Overlight, the RPG by Renegade Game Studios. We have co-creator Paul here with us today, who's going to be our GM.
Hi, I'm Paul Alexander Butler. I'm the co-creator of Overlight. Today with this crazy group of folks, we are playing a new adventure that we wrote just 2 days ago. So it's a bit of a playtest, going to some environments that we haven't done through any other playtest before. So we're excited to see what happens. Some folks have been exposed to the game, some folks have not. It should be an exciting time.
We've got Big Larry.
I'm Larry, and I play Davka. She is a human Harkeen from the Hark Shard, and she is a grifter and kind of like a thief and talks her way out of trouble. So, and once she became, got her powers, she decided she wanted to get out of the city and see the other shards, see the world around her.
Molly.
I'm Molly, and I am playing Algir, a Banyari root lord. So I'm like this little hominid monkey person, but I live symbiotically with a tree, and it's kind of the best. And we're super compassionate, but I'm kind of feisty and angry because I hung out with those fire people for a while. So we'll see how that goes.
Scott, who is the president, the big boss over at Renegade.
That's been exaggerated.
Hey, I'm Scott, and today I'm going to be playing Naya, a Pyroi Ember Tongue. My specialty is diplomacy, but I also get to bash people. I was also raised by Zokli. It was my tutor growing up. This Taraxian, kind of annoying.
And of course, me.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick, and I play Zokli, a Taraxian tutor. I just happen to be Naya's tutor in the game. And I'm kind of come across as this arrogant, like dapper, suave, kind of leader kind of character. But you'll see that right from the beginning.
We're going to be playing this to show you guys Overlight, so let's just get to it. Paul?
So we're going to begin on Hark, on the vast city shard, as it were. We're going to assume that the four of you have maybe had a couple of adventures together, and you are traveling about, righting wrongs and helping folk. Now there is such a thing called the Skyborn Order that maybe you've connected to in the past, but you aren't actually Skyborn Order members just yet. But it's something that you've been thinking about as you've encountered some of these folks that are part of that organization. But today you find yourself in there's a place called the Golden Pool, which is a tavern that is one of the better known places in the marketplace of Hark, where it is virtually a catacomb of connected rooms and hallways spread out almost over quite a few blocks of the city. It's the sort of place where any appetite can be indulged, whether it's food or drink or companionship. That being said, it is not a grim place of shattered futures or desperation, but it's filled with joy. Folk are there because they want to be there and because they trust the proprietor. It's not uncommon that folk are sent from the tavern out into the marketplace proper to bring back exotic foods and whatnot. The proprietor of this place is actually a native of Zenith. He's from a place called Conchog City, which is a marketplace on the edge of Hark. I'm sorry, on the edge of Zenith. So this fellow is human, but a monk from Zenith who has, despite his ancestors might have gone to Zenith to become monastics, for whatever reason he has chosen to return to Hark after a couple of generations or whatnot.
Did he bring his friend?
He did not, and folks, one presumes there's a story there because they do not voluntarily separate. So he's known as Mad Yeshur, Yeshur. And he's not really insane, but he's called Mad because he's fond of the drink. Again, though, he's a happy drunk. He's not a dark or desperate fellow. But as the story goes, he grew tired of the religiosity of his home shard, and he came back to Hark Center many cycles ago. And cycles are sort of the generic phrase that's used to suggest the movement of the shards Most folk use it in a way that's not very specific, and then nobody really knows what it means. But the Tyrexians have a very specific meaning for it.
Of course we do.
So he came back many cycles ago to build this house of joy and pleasure and company. Even some of the city guard have been known to enjoy some time at the Golden Pool. There are beautiful men and ladies sort of arranged upon the railings, and folks engaging in games of chance and drink. There are sitars and dancers waving silks around. It's a bit debauched, but it's festive. There's nothing sad about it. In fact, even though there is a bit of an open slave trade on Hark, Yashur will not allow slavers in the building. And in fact, it's widely whispered that he's provided some opportunities for some ex-slaves to escape or to find new ways to live their life.
I'm sorry, what's Rick's character's name again?
Zakli? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, exactly.
Zakli.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we want to write down character names? It's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm Naya.
Naya.
Algier.
And Davke. Davke.
All right.
And did you have a question, Scott? You said like you were good.
Oh, no.
No? Okay. So the four of you were in there, enjoying the drink and maybe playing a dice game or two. Go ahead.
I can just imagine a Tyrexian just in his drink.
Yeah, there's probably glasses that you can't quite figure out how to get to work with your snout.
Right.
Or,
So
Yeah,
just
like a
just
big
dip it in.
jar of some like sugar water.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, or like pop one talon and sort of dip it in and give it a taste. Like, yeah.
The worst.
wings beating it
Nice.
so fast we can't see them.
Right. So you're having a relaxing evening at the Golden Pool when Yashur approaches the four of you. Now, it's not uncommon for, again, some folk to view Skyborn as sort of do-gooders in a good way, and for them to ask small boons of folk. So you've kind of grown accustomed to it. But Yashur seems like it seems like he's got his act together. He's made his decisions in life, and he's happy being back on Hark. But he approaches you in sort of a conspiratorial manner, in making sure that he can get the four of you at a private table. And he sits down with a big tankard of some sort of exotic beverage, probably from some fermented plant on Banyan. He says,
Yeah.
"So,
I've just been spitting in a bucket and handing it to him. He doesn't know any better.
so Skyborn,
Yes. Mad one.
you come to the Golden Pool. Come here to have some relaxation."
As is the way.
As we do.
As we do, yes. On many occasions. This isn't the first.
I can recall seeing your plumage in and about from time to time.
It flares up a little bit. I accept that you appreciate my beauty.
You are you here long?
Passing through?
As long as we need to be.
Well, I wonder if I might convince you to run an errand for me. An errand. Let's be honest, errand perhaps is an insufficient word, but it will do.
Might do for you.
Yes, I mean, I'm not an errand boy for any man, woman, or child, and that's of course it pays well.
I think, if we do him a favor, he won't forget us.
Sure. I just think we should know what we're getting into, like beyond.
Errand.
We're happy to we're happy to help, but we need you to.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think he would run us too far afoul than we normally would go.
Yeah.
What?
I don't think
Foul
he
what?
Oh, here we go.
That is a very. can't say that.
Wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he would harm us, but I think I'd like to know a little bit. Yashir's been known to understate his intentions from time to time.
It's
Maybe
safe to assume we're probably not picking up his dry cleaning, so.
probably not. Yeah. What kind of errand do you need assistance with?
It's a delicate one, but I'm not sure who else to entrust this to. I love my customers and the folk that come here, but they are from all walks of life here in the city, and this particular request is rather precious to me. My daughter is called Norba. She's young, and he sort of gestures back toward the bar where you can see a young woman. She's probably maybe 12 or 13, sitting on a stool, just sort of wide-eyed at the craziness going on around her and looking a bit out of place. Yashir says, "I've chosen my life here, and Yorba's mother was happy enough to be here, but here we are sometime later, and I don't think this is the place for Norba. My folk from Zenith have a sense of the boundlessness of the world, and I think there's a lot of Zenith in Norba, and I wish my daughter to be a part of that boundlessness and not be crushed by the dirt and the speed of this city. The urban existence is not for her. She's clever with her hands, and I've made arrangements for her to be taken in at the Temple of the Shining Grotto on Zenith. It's a smaller of the Zenith orders, but she'll be at home there.
Okay.
I can't leave. I have.
And who at this Temple of the Shining Grotto is going to accept her when we deliver?
There is the people in charge know that she is coming.
Does she know that she's going?
She does. She does. She wishes me to go with her.
How does she feel about being separated from her parents?
Well, she's not happy here. She understands that, but she understands that I cannot leave. So while she's sad, I think it will be the best for her, and she's excited about the prospect of leaving. But as in so many instances, when a child leaves the protection of her parents, things are not always cheerful. But we both agreed that this is probably for the best.
And you said that their mother is not here?
Her mother has passed away.
Sorry.
It's been some time. There is the person in charge of the temple she's known as Venerable Shari. She is one of the Hamanu, and she knows that Norba's on the way.
All right.
Is there any particular sense of urgency?
Not especially. I do know that the storms, the windstorms around Zenith, it's about the season where things start getting difficult for travel up there. So while there's not a special sense of urgency, sooner is better than later, lest it be delayed for a longer type period of time.
So you want us to escort her to Zenith?
I do. To the Temple of the Shining Grotto specifically.
Do you have any suggestions for how we're going to get there? Like by what means? Or do we just have to figure that out ourselves?
Well, you are on Hark. There are folk at the sky docks that you might be able to negotiate with. It is
I kind of feel like you being the proprietor of the beautiful establishment here, that you may have already kind of set up passage.
So
Just we need to escort.
there are certain agreements that I have made in order to keep this establishment running the way that the patron is expected to run. As you may have learned over time, there are certain protections that I offer to some folk who are coming and going from other places, and there have been some agreements, some of which were not inexpensive, and I do not speak of coin, that are still very much in place for this to continue, for the pool to continue in the way that it has continued for all this time, and there are folk as part of that infrastructure that have a certain amount of leverage over me, which I would just as soon not have learned that my daughter is going off shard. Does that make sense?
So you do want us to keep this quiet?
Yes.
As quiet as tree people and a stompy fire elephant person can.
Wow.
Well, keep in mind, Hark is the most cosmopolitan of the shards. So while they're not common, there's enough of them around. Yeah.
And you'll be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Does anybody out there know your daughter on site as your daughter?
I don't think so. She's mostly lived in and around here or back and forth to the market. I don't think so.
So we don't have to disguise her or anything. Just keep an eye on her.
I can make her a disguise like she's always hiding behind a shrub.
Nice.
A bit of extra caution wouldn't hurt, but I do not expect that to be a necessity.
I'm assuming you want our transportation of her to be through less than obvious means.
I don't know how clandestine you have to be.
Okay.
I would just rather not call attention to the fact that I'm sending my daughter off shard.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to be directly involved. I think using my contacts would, well, just as I pay folks for certain favors or certain bits of information, I can't be certain that those folk aren't also being rewarded in the other direction.
Okay.
So here's the plan. She's your niece, as you are the only one that shares a, folk connection. So we can hide her that way. And she is being taken to a boarding school in Zenith, and I will be accompanying her as a tutor upon arrival, as it is my trade. There's our story.
Naya's not buying it. It's not good
She's
enough.
jealous because I was her tutor. She knows how amazing I am.
This
She doesn't wanna
plan,
lose me.
this plan didn't work the last time we tried it, so maybe we should try it again.
I mean, I'm just saying that
it's-
seems a
Zenith's-
logical way.
Zenith is the purple shard, right?
Correct. So it is quite some distance from here.
Okay.
So if you think about it in real world terms, you figure you're
We're going to New Zealand.
you're you're 3 continents away in the age of exploration. So it is not a short journey.
It's not a trivial.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go because I want to see how people do things subtly. I'm just gonna watch.
Right.
So I think that we'd be happy to help. We just,
Okay, as far as we know, I mean, are there any direct path to Zenith, or do we have to stop on other shards along the way?
Well, it's not exactly like you're buying a ticket necessarily. I mean, there are. You could argue that there's such a thing as trade routes, but they tend to be so completely controlled by the certain the Verena Guild of the Verena House of Vale. That it's not. There's no real common methods of passage from one shard to another. So theoretically, you might be able to hire somebody to take you directly there.
But it's going to be pricey.
Yeah, it'll be pricey.
Okay.
Now, which brings up something that we haven't discussed before as far as rules go. Like many parts of the game, we've abstracted wealth. We don't want to have people keeping track of individual gold coins and things like that. So on the bottom right of your character sheet, you'll see something called wealth rating and wealth pool. So pool is sort of, again, abstracted disposable wealth, like wealth that can be paid to do things. Whereas your rating is both your literal and perceived wealth or social standing. So the Binyari, being a furry tree animal, does not have a wealth rating and
got
does not
nothing.
have any wealth pool.
But you have great personality.
I do.
Yeah. But you probably eat through photosynthesis, so.
It's true. I can
Yeah, so you
photosynthesize,
don't need-
and people can
Get some
applaud me for
sunlight,
fun.
you're good.
Where on the exact opposite of the spectrum,
Or like
the-
sleeping outdoors as well.
Yeah. That's
the Pyro Ember Tongue has a very high wealth rating and a very high wealth pool because
I don't like to discuss my personal finances.
fair enough, right? So you will occasionally be called on to make wealth checks, whether you're, the idea is that if you need to buy some simple piece of food or just some simple tool, we're not going to make you make a wealth check. But anytime you're negotiating with somebody or buying something mostly just to get information, or bribing somebody or buying something especially valuable, like passages to another shard or what have you, you will be called on to make a wealth check. And in that instance, you will be rolling whichever skill you feel is most applicable plus the rating of your wealth, plus the spirit die. The spirit die will in fact be the number of wealth points that you end up having to spend, as it were. If you fail the roll, you still succeed, but you have to spend double the wealth points that you rolled.
And you spend those from your pool?
Spend those from your pool.
Okay, got it.
Now, something I didn't mention about skills is that now we haven't gone into a lot of detail about what the skills mean. Most of them are fairly intuitive, but the idea being that this is one of those games where if as a player you can argue with me a different skill that is more applicable to what it is I'm making you test for, then I'll probably just let you use that other skill.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, there was in a previous game, Tyrexian was trying to do a performance that would catch a lot of people's attention. So I called for a performance roll, and the Tyrexian player looked at me and said, "Yeah, but Windlore, I'm going to do it in the sky. I'm going to do it in the air." And I said, "Oh well, of course, yeah, you use Windlore instead." So any effort to use different skills, as long as it logically makes sense in the narrative, should generally be allowed. But that's on you. I will call for a type of skill, and you can argue a different way.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
So the other thing is, if you, during a wealth check, if you fail or if you do not have enough points to spend, you may instead barter away one of your valuables. Now, valuables, again, like most things, do not have specific rules associated with them, but they will have some narrative threads that are sort of hung on them that are very much character-defining things. And you can gain valuables, of course, over the course of the game. So you can trade away a valuable in place of wealth points if you don't have wealth points, but the idea being that it should always hurt trading away a valuable for one reason or another. So I think the Binyari has a hearthwood nut.
I do, and no one's ever getting it.
Yeah. So
What if I have to replant that forest?
so interesting that you should ask that. There's actually a chroma power that allows you to use the hearthwood nut in such a fashion, but we can come back to that. You don't have that one, but yeah.
So my question then to Mad Yeshir is, passage to the shard Zenith is going to cost money. I understand that we all have our own ability to have such things or whatever, but this is your child seeking passage. Do you have any bartering items or whatever that we can use to secure this passage?
I'd be worried that folk would know that it was coming from me. As you might not be aware. I don't know. You're not from Hark, but we use a wide variety of coinage on this shard, and I'm not always convinced that. some of it is official, as official as anything can be, and some of it is not so official. And I just worry.
I'm not
that-
really thinking coinage on this. I'm thinking maybe something in your private vaults that might be of interest to a captain, a piece of art or something that because again, it's not going to be cheap, and this is your child.
Maybe tavern owners on Quill have vaults in their taverns, but
Exactly. I think we have to travel light and inconspicuous, and traveling with a big piece of art strapped to somebody's back is going to draw more attention to us.
I've seen art the size of a thimble, sir, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So, forgive my tutor, but I think that Yesher will be able to repay us back with a place to live while we're in Hark. I mean, right? So
at the least,
at the
my
least,
friend.
right?
So
As I mentioned, I have a great many contacts in and around this part of the city,
rough on my federal
and while I don't always like to lean upon them, I have resources that are not nearly so tangible.
So we are definitely trading favors, not necessarily being hired for a job.
I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I prefer to live somewhere of at least modest accommodations.
Right.
And Yesher has been able to provide that. I mean, his establishment is at least up to my standards.
okay.
Sure.
So
And frankly, as you know, and you know, it ultimately it's your character. You do what you want, but you know, Skyborn aren't often for hire so much as they are trying to help folk and figure out,
Right.
you know, figure out how they can.
I mean, I'm used to a certain way of living.
But you are absolutely
I'm
certain.
It also
Not
seems that you've
So
been reading the Six
basically, we're
Scrolls of
like
Telek.
we're the A team of the shards. Basically, we're just trying to help somebody out and figure it out with
That would not be the first time that I've used that I've used that analogy.
duct tape and
there's
good
just certain-
intentions.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of A-team building cabbage cannons, or you know, like the Incredible Hulk TV show, like you wander from place to place trying to help out folk.
Oh, I don't want to be the Hulk. That was
Yeah,
sad.
well, I don't know.
But you know, but that is sort of the shallow end of how to interact with this game.
Okay.
Right? You can very much do sort of these episodic bits where you're helping folk from place to place. Well, obviously there are much grander stories that we're digging into, but
Okay.
that's sort of the shallow end of how to dig into this kind of game.
Okay, and I don't mean to get too like big picture on you, but you know, there's the Skyborn, right?
Yep.
Is there an opposite side to that coin?
Not directly.
Okay.
But there are folk who view the Skyborn as troublemakers and meddlers, and there are some folk who feel that the manner in which the Skyborn interact with the Overlight is heretical.
Okay.
So there is while there might not be
We're gonna run into some Roscoe P. Coltrane's on.
yeah. While there might not be an organization set in direct opposition to the Skyborn Order, there are factions that stand against what the Skyborn Order says it's about. And in fact, that very topic might be what we're diving into for the booklet that comes with the Game Master screen.
Nice. Okay.
So,
Okay.
if you didn't know, that's Scott.
I learned something.
We
new
don't
every
care
day.
what those Skyborn think.
So I mean, are you all up for trying to for lack of a better term, tramp our way to Zenith?
Yeah, I think so.
It's very cold there. I'm gonna lose my leaves.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know, don't be surprised.
They grow back, right?
I don't know. I've never been there before.
Okay. you might grow needles.
Ooh.
There you go.
I'm prepared for this. I'm a little disheartened because you know we got to use our resources to get this child off this. And I just mumble and grumble a little bit.
Well, we were
because
just gonna gamble it all away here anyway.
Wait, what?
We were just gonna gamble it all away here anyway. So
Perfect.
I mean, might as well
Let's,
put it to good use.
I agree.
All right, so we need to eventually make our ways to the Sky Docks.
Sure. Yep.
And what's the child's name?
Child's name is Norba.
Norma.
Norba.
I think I did write that down already. Yes. Okay. In my scrolls of many that I have.
Sure. Yep.
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 I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Naya. Are you up for going to some place that's kind of snowy and cold?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so the pyro aren't fire people necessarily.
I
They're
know, but-
yeah. In fact, parts of pyro are very cold. Yeah, I mean, it gets the least light and it's down there in the dark. Yeah, it's sort of a place of extremes.
They've learned to dress in layers.
Yeah.
Nice.
yeah, I left to explore the world beyond.
Right, exactly.
I see you've read the scrolls of Torin, the traveler. Nice.
Are you gonna at least pack Norbel lunch?
right. So,
Or do we have to?
so
Or do we
Yeshua
have
says
to like
that-
constantly feed?
I don't know much about the fair and
Hungry
care-
again?
feeding
Damn
caring
it!
of
Just
humans. I
So-
mean, I put her in the dirt and I pruned her branches. I don't know why this isn't going well.
So Norma's, how old did you say?
like
she was?
12, 13.
12.
Yeah.
Well, wait, 12 or 13.
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Right.
Well,
Well, I don't think there's.
we don't measure years and months in the same way in Overlight.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's an approximation so that we don't go insane.
Dude,
trying
she
to,
looked like
trying to
a
talk
moody,
Teen-ish.
teen or a bright-eyed, pleasant tween.
Definitely tween.
All right.
Definitely
Okay. All right.
tween.
Oh, I'm all for this now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so her goth phase hasn't kicked in yet. So
Right.
she's not gonna
right.
be all sully and
Yeah.
sullen and sulky the whole
Right.
trip.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's apparently perfectly happy to be swept off to an icy monastery at the top of the world.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Okay, so Yeshur says that he will get Norba prepared for the journey and prepare some victuals to take with her or what have you. So once you folks arrange for transport, you can come back and get her and go from there.
That's what I was going to say. We don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, you don't need to cart her around the city. Be like, yo, we're trying to get this girl to Zenith.
Right.
Holding her up.
Yeah,
Child.
we're not going, but who's got room in the stowage? Like, yeah.
All right. So.
And we could
It's
just
not
put
like
her
we
in
have
a
to buy
crate.
tickets in her name. Just
Put her in a crate, put some food in it, label it Zenith.
Like 2 extra
Abu
stamps.
Dhabi.
It'll happen.
yeah.
Hope for the best.
No, that's not how we work.
No, I don't
No.
Yeah, I don't think any was would travel that way.
Not this time.
Not this time.
Again,
I think
that plan didn't work the
It
last
did
time.
not.
we tried.
Yeah.
Right.
Leaving Pyre was a painful.
So
Okay.
should we make our way to the sky docks?
I like
I
it.
feel that that's the best place to start.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're from Hark, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll follow
Yeah,
your lead
yeah.
then.
Okay.
Well, if you want, you want to make a folklore test or something to see if you have a sense of where the best place to head is, or
Hold on.
I mean, everybody knows where the sky docks are, but maybe you've got some additional.
Connections.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to get in contact with RML?
With NRML?
Huh?
With NRML? So,
No,
so the RML are the people of Vale.
the elder RML captain that I went to Pyre with.
So you can. Did we give that character a name? Probably not. We should probably come up with a name for that character.
Yeah, just he says the captain.
So here's the trick. Most airship captains are RML.
Okay.
Because they are all either beholden to or part of House of Arena, because they're the ones that control the technology that creates the overlight engines that allow the airships to fly.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see if I can get in contact with the captain, the RML captain that I went Journey to Pyre with.
Okay. So let's see. Go ahead and make a folklore check. So those of you that are playing along at home, so that's going to be
2d8. Yeah.
So it's always threes. So
Okay.
it's 3d6 for your wisdom and 3d8 for your folklore, and then add the spirit die.
I need 6s.
Yeah, sixes or higher are successes. So you should have 7 dice in your hand. 3 6s, 3 8s, and a 4. Yep.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Big money? Big money?
So
Oh.
No whammies
I
here.
got
Nice.
4. I got a 1 on the spirit die.
So spirit doesn't mean anything unless you roll a 4.
Okay.
So, but you did get 4 successes.
Yeah.
So that is so that's a radiant success.
Almost there. First epic.
We're fine. First class.
What's that?
He almost had that first epic right there.
Oh yeah, well,
the big
but
brilliance.
you need yeah, not
almost.
legendary.
Almost.
Legendary, you need the 4 on the die as well. So yeah, that's actually a really good roll for that pool of dice. Okay, so we need a name for that character, for that captain.
Oh, for the Airmail Sky
Well,
Captain?
for the one that he had a relationship with.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should make George come up with one off camera.
George, if you would be so kind.
I need an airmail name. An airmail sky captain name.
Theris.
Theris. All right.
Oh, that's a good one.
George is the keeper of the lore as far as the linguistics of this thing goes.
Nice.
Because we try to keep everything consistent. And he's better at coming up with that off the top of his head than I am, whereas I need to look up all sorts of stuff to keep it consistent. At any rate, so Captain Theris is the name of the captain that you once traveled with to Pyre when you were first trying to get off of Hark.
Okay.
So you go. So the 4 of you go down to the sky docks. Now the sky docks are part of the city of Hark, where, as you might imagine, there are a great deal of guild workers coming and going that unload goods from these ships that are everything from the size of this room to the size of huge ocean liner type things. They all tend to be sort of sleek and shining metallics. So you get down there and you're asking about from some of the guild workers or some of the Aramel folk that seem to be sort of ship workers or whatnot. While it seems that Captain Theris has not been to Hark in quite some time, you are directed to a fellow named Captain Zeno Verena, who is apparently knows Theris. He's been known to travel with Theris in the past, but word is that he's starting out afresh with his own ship. But just the name itself, Verena, would suggest that this person is actually part of House Verena, which is the house that controls the airships in general.
Okay.
So you're directed to a small inn where some of the more well-to-do captains tend to hang out in between runs or shipments. And the 4 of you enter this place. It's not far from these sky docks, and ask about for a Captain Verena. Sure enough, you're directed to an Aramel, the back of the room, who seems to be well into his cups. He has some sort of elaborate glass bottle of wine of some sort that he looks like he's been cheerfully drinking by himself. He does have, like all of the Aramel, he has a mask. This one in particular is almost featureless, but it is of shining mirrored silver. And at the edges, it's sort of scalloped and waved in such a way so that it almost gives the impression of movement. As he sees you approach, he sits up a little taller. Now the Aramel are again sort of very thin and very tall. This fellow is probably 6.5 feet tall or something, but sees you approach and sits up a bit taller. And pours himself another glass and sort of waves at the barkeep to bring over a few more glasses.
Hi.
Hello. Aren't you an assortment?
Yes, we are.
Well, sit down.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Davka, and I was looking for Captain Theris, but he is not in Hark. So someone from the guild recommended you to us.
Slow and too expensive, that Captain Theris.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Is he the one that we tried to board?
I could see where somebody might think that, but hey, it's all about the journey, not the speed of the trip. Don't you think?
No, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yes. Well. Anyway, I was wondering if you knew of any reliable means of getting to Zenith in a
Zenith?
quiet and somewhat timely fashion.
Well, timely is all relative, isn't it, when it comes to going to Zenith? The cargo is
Passengers.
Just
the 4 of you.
+1.
A small one.
5 of you then.
Yes.
Yes, that would be correct.
4.5.
To Zenith.
To Zenith, yes.
Contraband?
Nope.
No, just
No.
Slaves?
no.
Well, that's a bit boring, isn't it?
What?
I can make it exciting. I mean, I wouldn't want this to be a boring thing for you. I can find something to bring.
Well, I can get you there relatively quickly, safely.
Pause you again.
Yes.
His mic is slipping.
Is that me? Oh, I'm sorry. Move around a bit. What's the cups on the floor there?
Deep in his cups.
So basically, we'll just pick up with I can get you there. I think
Roger.
relatively quickly.
Is it a fast ship?
I can get you there quickly, safely. I'm not cheap, but then the value for your expenditure would be better than if you're with Captain Theris. He's
Okay.
stuck in his ways.
Understandable.
And mine is a new ship.
Let me ask you this. It's a new ship, so I'm guessing you don't have your full complement of a crew lined up yet, do you?
Of course I have a full complement of crew.
Okay. So there's no need for more crew members to work their passage off?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Dang it.
Have you been to Zenith before?
I've been around Zenith. I've been up around. I've been up around Quill. Quill is very dangerous. The wind in between Quill and Zenith can be quite tricky. But once you're past a certain point, the Zenith is smooth sailing.
So this will be your first time actually visiting Zenith.
Making landfall, yes.
Okay.
Well, I think the only thing we need to do now is negotiate what is it that you would require from us to book this passage.
Well, that depends, I suppose.
Ooh.
So who's going to be doing the negotiating? He is sort of looking at you because he, right? So,
Sure.
So the way I prefer to do these things is we make the roll first, and then we role play based on
Sure.
the results of the roll.
Yep.
So what is your general approach as far as how you negotiate? So obviously,
So he's focusing on Naya.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Naya's the one that clearly looks like she has
Radiates
wealth.
money.
Yeah.
Okay.
The diplomat.
Right.
Well, I'd really prefer that he makes he gives us his first price. We're not going to throw a price out first and see what he says, and we'll kind of go from there. If it seems reasonable, I mean, we're not out to cheat him.
Right,
If,
right.
if it's fair, it's fair. We'll proceed. If we feel that he's taking advantage of us, then
Okay.
we need
so
to
why don't
have a
you
discussion.
why don't we make an intuition roll then?
Okay.
So intuition plus wealth.
Intuition.
So that's up top with wisdom.
Okay.
So 3 of those
Yeah.
plus 3 of what your wealth is.
3 of what my wealth is.
Yep.
My wealth rating.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Big money.
Yep. And then add the
So my
foresight.
4. Yep.
Yep. So just like always, count the successes.
Oh.
That looks well. I see an 11.
That's it though.
So 2 successes.
2 successes.
2 successes, and you rolled a 1. So
rolled
that's
a
actually very good because you're going to spend 1 wealth point.
Right. That's
and
good.
You've got a simple success. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So the captain, sort of looks you up and down, and then looks at the rest of your motley assemblage. And who is the 5th person we're bringing along?
The 5th person is just an acquaintance of ours that wishes to relocate to Zenith.
Another one of these.
Going home.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a particular destination on Zenith that we're headed for?
There is. As we get closer, we'll we'll let you know exactly where we need to go once
We
get
need to actually look at the maps and charts ourselves to find out exactly where on Zenith it is that we are headed. So make sure that we make to the closest port.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I assure you, there's no contraband or anything nefarious here. We're merely helping out a friend.
Well, it sounds like it should be relatively easy then. We're just and are you making the return journey?
We are.
And you're just dropping off this friend, and you'll make the return journey.
Yes.
And must the return journey be equally as speedy?
Not necessarily.
No.
Well, it shouldn't be any problem at all. I should think. He scribbles down a number on a small piece of parchment and slides it across to you, and it is actually far less than you would have expected.
Yeah. Thank you. I think this is quite fair.
I think it's fine. I haven't been that far up the stack in quite a while. It should be fun.
All right.
Far up the stack.
When would you be ready to leave?
I could in half a cycle. It shouldn't be that long at all. Sort of glances outside at the light. He says, "Yeah, not that long at all."
Is that a day or a month or?
No. We're talking. Yeah.
Like the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Arguably, yeah.
12 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That sounds fantastic.
perfect.
We'll meet you at your ship then.
Sounds good. Ask for the Cloud Dancer.
Cloud Dancer.
It's the small, clean one.
I'm liking this gentleman already. All right.